Alright, y'all. Y'all already know I told y'all and promised y'all that I'm gonna jump on without even brushing my teeth. It's probably pretty funky in here, but don't worry, you ain't gotta smell it. Anyway, y'all. Hi, how you doing? How you cheering? I would say I'm out this beach, but I ain't really out this. I'm inside my truck, just chilling. I was inspired, or I got my intuition to cut this video. I usually listen to what I'm being told. Try not to do what I want to do. When I do what I want to do, I usually end up in sticky situations. But anyway, the reason why I'm doing this video today is to do something that I've never done. Actually, I'm going to talk about one particular stock. It's called Symbotic. I think the ticker is SYM. I've been thinking. If there's one stock that I would go into, maybe let's say $1,000 or $100, and sit it out for 10 years, and it probably 30x instead of just maybe 10x, probably even 100x. It probably would be Symbotic. I tried to do a previous video about a couple minutes ago and screwed it all up because I kept letting the video, I kept using my hand or something, putting it over the mic or something here, I guess, and screwed it all up. But hey, that's my daughter too. That's my daughter in the background. I'm gonna try to show you her real quick before the video goes off. And y'all see that? Can you see that? This is a video, one of her videos. That's her right there. Her name is Lena Pastel. And if you can, please go on and support her music. I have a playlist with this song on it, and at least maybe 15 other songs that she got out with videos and all on them. If you can go in, press like, share with your friends, subscribe. It'll really help her out. It'll really help me out. I appreciate it. But her name is Lena Pastel. That's her entertainment name. Her real name is Pearl McElveen. But you can go check her out. I think he's going to go to another video. I just hit play on play all. So, yeah, check her out. And I hope you can see it. I'm just going to hold it here for a second until it goes into the other video. Yeah, this is another video she done. I think she pretty much did that video for this dude right there that she met on an Uber, I believe. I could be wrong. But this video, I believe she was a lot younger. You can see her hands. She's got little baby hands. But I have a grandson as well. And you'll see some shots of him on my Facebook if you want to check them out. But I don't know why this thing's acting up. But anyway, never mind that. I'll go back to it. But anyway, check this out. The company is called Symbotic, and the ticker is SYM. And the reason why I'm doing this video is the first time I ever did a video like this, and I'm never going to be a paid supporter. I already promise you that. My objective is not to, have sponsors and people pay me and all. I'm also affiliate marketing, so I just attach my links to each one of my videos, and if you see something you're interested in, just know it's legit. Because if not, I wouldn't have it on my page, because I care about each one of my people. And it's something that applies to maybe an issue that we can suffer, or a dilemma that we're dealing with. Ways to get around it. Like if you're unhealthy or fat, or you want to lose some weight, the easiest way. I've done some research on some of the diets and stuff out there, and I put out some of the easier ways to lose weight. Some of the more practical ways, besides working yourself half to death. Diets, I believe it's more about your diet, as opposed to, you killing yourself in some gym and getting some gym membership. So if I, have an affiliate link that has anything to do with diets, you can best believe it's something like a keto or, something of that nature, something where you can actually diet to lose weight and it actually works. So, and then another way, of course, for losing weight and toning up, of course, is just change your eating habits. It's not that easy, but you do it over time. You do it with practice. That's all. And, water, believe it or not. And, of course, there's supplements out there, but I pretty much like to stick to natural things. I would rather go to a plant or a leaf. But anyway, so I'll never take any type of sponsorship. So if you see me doing a video on one particular stock, I swear, it has nothing to do with that company. I don't know anybody at that company. Nobody's called me up and said, hey, take some money. It'll never, ever be like that. It'll be simply, hey, look, man, I got some stocks, and out of the stocks that I got, if there's one stock that'll do this or do that, then it probably would be this stock, is my belief. Now, I'm not giving financial advice. I'm not a stock expert. Of course not. I'm a new beginning investor. So it's definitely not that. It's just me letting you know, wow. Look, what I did was I basically went back and I did research since December 27th, because that's when we got our little, bull run is what I like to call it. And nobody talks about it. It's amazing that the whole time since December 27th, nobody's talking about how their stocks and shit in their portfolio then grew up to more than 100% in some cases. But at the same time, they're putting out a bunch of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and a bunch of fear of missing out. That's all they're putting out, FOMO and FUD. It's crazy. And I swear to God, it's almost like they're all going to one particular person and receiving the narrative and being told to put this out. Even if your stocks in your portfolio done grew 100%, I'm sitting there like, what the hell? These people lying, man. Like, they'd rather sit there and talk to you about dividend stocks and how to get 2% dividend growth out of per quarter, and how we're in a recession, and how to bulletproof yourself by getting dividend stocks or some crap, than to tell you that their stock is growing 100%. And since December 27, they done put out another 10% or 20% into their portfolio. They won't tell you that. It's crazy as shit. But anyway, so what I done is I said, okay, everything's pretty much slowed down. Some of these stocks that went up 100%, some of them will come back down to where they started out at. So what I'm going to do is, I believe now will be a good time for me to go back, and I'm going to do research on all my stocks that have gone up since December 27th, and what type of growth they've gotten, whether they've come back down or not, and where they are right now. And when I did my research, I noticed that out of all my stocks, I know the Symbotic is kicking ass. Now, I got a few of them, Tenaya, Bright Green, but Symbotic and artificial intelligence, I keep putting out videos saying that a lot of my knowledge, on what's written, not just biblically, but when you talk about the whole aspect of where we are matter-wise and physical-wise, and the mysticism behind it, when you talk about, believing in, or, Kabbalah believers, mysticism believers, sacred geometry, colors, and all the things, light, and all the things that make up this matter, field, place. When you go to those people, they have what they have written as well. And those people, they follow a strict ritual, a strict series, if you will, or repetition. When these people get together, these millionaires, billionaires, trillionaires, they get together and they say, well, we're going to have this done by 2030. You best believe they will. They ain't joking. And if you go back and watch the track record, you can see they ain't joking. So one indicator, which is I believe one of the strongest indicators, is you got legislative change, the laws just change. And then you got also what's written, with these guys is, these Kabbalah believers, how precise they are with time, and, and being on point with their projections, and seeing to it that the end result is obtained. That's just what they do. So that can help you out in the stock game as well, when you have a big macro picture on dynasties, the whole world, especially the macro picture on, finances, what financing is, what banking is, what currency is, what barter is, exchange is, and how it all plays a part in the part of the timeline where we are right now. And the bigger picture, like, for example, gross domestic product, and how important gross domestic product is, and how gross domestic product is going to receive one of the biggest changes that is ever received worldwide, simply because of the advent of artificial intelligence and robotics and autonomous and things like that. When you think about it from a macro perspective or a business perspective, or economic perspective, when it comes to producing, there's no need for a human being to produce anymore. Just watching what happened during the pandemic, you can see, just in 3-4 years how, we step out in the pandemic, we come back and literally all our stores just got automation, like some way, shape, or form. We got to pay for bags, and just the bags alone will pay the few employees that are left there helping you out. And then you see major change like, Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's, humanless environments. It's one thing to have a paperless environment. It's another thing to have a humanless environment where, there's no humans tending to the other humans. Those humans that are there are just consumers, and everything else is being handled by autonomous. Not to mention the positions that are being, filled behind the doors, like your stocking positions, your warehouse positions, your assembly line positions. I have a company called UiPath, and that's what they do. They go in and literally find a way to get rid of all the employees and put a robot in there, like literally, or some type of autonomous in there. Even your taxi, buses, you got a bunch of people on the bus, but not one is a person that's dealing with the consumer. Everything's automated, It's the police literally pulling up on you, and it's a robot. Like literally, like everything, doesn't need a human anymore. And in 10 years, you'll see. I talked a little bit earlier about how we experienced Jetsons, and didn't think that some of the things that happened in Jetsons wouldn't happen, but it did. It happened so fast without us really catching it. And some of the technologies that we're using. I even talked about the gamers, how we love Black Ops, us gamers, we play Black Ops, we love it. And how when, you see those weapons being used on Black Ops, and the first thing you want to imagine is, can these weapons exist in real life? And it probably sounds a little weird, but yes, any weapon you see on Black Ops, it's been invented. No different from Jetsons. How we were thinking back in Jetsons, that's impossible. We don't even have a fucking phone yet. How can we be looking at each other through phones? It doesn't make sense. Flying cars, that's impossible. Shit, our car's spitting out too much emissions, and we're complaining about that. It could never be. Where that's literally spacecraft technology, and all it is electromagnetics, electricity, and the infinite energy and power source that comes from two magnets repelling. Those trains, they never touch the track, the bullet trains, and when they, in motion, and they go that fast, they not touching the track, and that's an infinite energy source right there in front of your face. There's no need for propulsion. It's right there, and if we can put it in a bullet train, then we can obviously put it in the cars after we get the infrastructure, just like we got the infrastructure for the bullet trains. So like those weapons that, they got a weapon on Black Ops where it creates a wormhole, and the motherfucker gets sucked in there, bitch, to oblivion. But that shit really exists. Stargates, all that shit really exists, bro. And not only does it exist, but it's controlled. It's harnessed. It's being applied to certain applications right in front of our face, even as toys sometimes. If you really think about the technology behind just the phone and how it has to be connected to anything, but at the same time it's connected to something that we can't see, taste, touch, or feel. Well, at least some of us, because my fingertips be burning like shit. My fingertips burning right now holding this damn phone, but I gotta hold it, because when I lay it down, you can't hear me. It covers the mic. But I gotta keep switching hands and shit. My fingertips burn when I hold these phones. Burn like they're like microwaving, like you're microwaving. And I have some weird things with my fingers. I'm able to do some weird things at different times. So I know there's something going on that's really ruining my ability, and my ability that I hope to have even more with my hands. But I know these phones are ruining it. I know it because they're frying the shit out my fingertips and stuff. So much so I gotta lay it down on my lap or something. But the reason why I'm so bullish on the stock market and the bigger picture of the stock market. If you and anybody who's in the stock market since the advent of electricity, and think they've gotten some good gains or whatever since the advent of electricity, and how far we've come, and they ain't seen nothing yet. These next 10, these, summits where they're saying by 2030, by 2040, by 2050, these guys ain't playing with their time, man. That's one thing. These guys are very ritualistic. One thing they're not off by is their timing. It's ritualistic. The Kabbalah believers, they don't play with time. They take time very serious. So the growth, just the account of artificial intelligence from a gross domestic product perspective, worldwide gross domestic product perspective, and how humans can literally go lay back in their recliners from this point, technically speaking, would be amazing. And then to also catch these prices at sometimes at a 100-year low, or maybe a 60-year low, or even catching it at a year 2000 recession low would be good. 2008, banking crisis, depression, recession, whatever you want to call it, low. Even catching the prices there and then riding the wave back out, it's not going to be like the wave that was previously ridden, simply because of artificial intelligence and, like I said, gross domestic product. And humans literally could take a recliner chair for the next 20 years. Like, that's how fast this stuff is going to change. From that perspective, and what's written and all, and how what's written has been pinpoint accurate so far, I try to tell even the poor people that, I'm a poor person myself. You feel me? I got a truck. It's paid for. I'm not a fan of expenses and loans and stuff like that. So I would just go get some credit and off my collateral and just make this shit real easy. But my whole point is it's got to be self, and it's got to be done the simple way. I mean, literally putting $100 into one stock and watching, showing people the power of exponential growth over time and not short periods of time, and being patient and let time work for you as opposed to you working for yourself, even with very little time left, as you can see all these grays. But anyway, it's kind of amazing when you think about it. If you just go grab a dividend calculator and play with the calculator, you'll be blown away at what true exponential growth is and how easy it is to obtain generational wealth, especially if you start at the right time. It's all about time. I try to tell people it's not about money. It's time. Motherfuckers ain't listening. They get so caught up in the income and the cash, and they forget completely about net worth and equity and appreciating assets. They completely forget about that. And you sitting there rubbing feet with your girl and shit every day, wondering what I'm gonna do today. I'm so bored. Fuckers just ain't catching it. But they ain't hearing it. But the things that I learned make it so that I swear I'll never ever sell another drug or do anything. I ain't gonna go into any other details. Do anything wrong or illegal. You almost feel like an asshole. As some of these guys out there, I swear to God, some of my people I love that I talk to on a daily basis, trying to change 100 to 150 is hard. Shit, you lucky to change 100 to 130 sometimes in the game, man. Nobody want to pay for shit. Motherfuckers want a discount on everything. You got to deal with that. Motherfuckers coming short, and like, you lucky to make 30% off 100%. Like, I'm trying to tell you. And once you learn how to make 1,000x something, you sit there like, well, what the fuck did I ever work for? If I do work, it'll be working to save or stack. I mean, not save, but stack. My middle name switched to Stack, and not the kind of stacks you think. Like, literally, I ain't handing nobody shit and taking a chance of getting locked up or somebody shooting and spitting at my ass. Cling, 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 shit back. Like, what the fuck? Hey, aiming at my red, like, shit, damn. Is it red because it's red, or is it red because I'm leaking from the head? Like, well, how you? No, for what? Well, you learn what I learned. And I tell all my brothers, all my sisters, all my family members, all my friends, I don't give a fuck, Crip, blood, click, 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 I don't give a fuck what signs you throw. Look, let me holler at you real quick, man. I just learned this shit, man. Let me pull this cat out here and show you something. Ain't nobody trying to hear it. And I ain't knocking them. I probably wouldn't be trying to hear it either. Try to tell them, man, it ain't got shit to do with me. It's just right now is a good time, bro. That's all. Right now is a time that you can actually do what people done did for the last 10 years, 20 years, and literally done seen gains and growth that literally turn them into millionaires. You get to ride that same wave, and you get to ride it exponentially faster. And, right now, some of these prices done drop, and probably will drop down to even prices lower than the 2008, banking crisis prices, like literally. So it's a much bigger picture, and it all comes back down to another 10, 20-year wait. But it could be a wait that can literally change generations to come for you if you play it right and do it right. And it could be done as low as $100 per stock. And but nobody's really hearing me, and that's cool. That's fine. People usually jump on when they see success or whatever. That's normal. But yeah, the company is Symbotic. That's the jewel that I'm dropping. I have more than 100 assets right now, in just one portfolio alone that I mainly talk about, which is my stash portfolio. I have a total of 5 portfolios, and just in my stash portfolio, never mind crypto or penny stocks or any other type of stocks or whatever. Just the stocks that I'm usually talking about is my stash portfolio, which is my mega cap, large companies and stuff. $1 billion companies, $1 trillion companies. And what I noticed is like I said, since December 27th, this stock done gone from literally $9 to $30, which is, I would say 300% or whatever. And it's holding it steady. Whereas, like I said, some of my stocks have gone up 100% and come right back down to where it started out, you know. So, Symbotic. The ticker symbol is SYM, and it's an artificial intelligence stock. And right now, I got some, pretty good plays. But right now, if there was a play that I would say, hey, I'm gonna open this play up for your kid, and from now on, I'm gonna buy your kid T-shirts. I'm gonna, invent some T-shirts, and the T-shirt's gonna have this logo, this symbol on it, and nobody will know what the hell what it means, but your kid will know what it means. And if I'm right by what I'm doing, then your kid will never have to worry about money again, ever, if they just wait till they're 18 or 20 or whatever to touch it. And it will probably be that stock. It's a jewel. Um, I'm now trying to, I could easily just start going ham into the stock right now, but like I said, it's holding in that 300%, and I don't want to suffer that 300% loss. I know the importance of having the lowest point cost basis point as you possibly can have, and I try to be very patient, especially when I'm seeing volatility like what I'm seeing. I look at that volatility as opportunity. So what I'm doing is pretty much trying to be as patient as I possibly can, and just stay where I'm at right now, accepting my loss, and, simply meaning accepting my loss at not getting it at 300% cheaper, but and hoping that, it goes ahead and keep trending downwards, and trend downwards to a spot maybe where I like to pop it at, and probably pop it. It ain't gonna be no more than $100 pop. I probably, literally that being my number one play, I'll just keep it at 100 at. Like I said, my objective is to show people how to do it with $100. At the end, I might have $1,000 play out there, something like that. Maybe a couple $1,000 plays out there at the end, just for GP. But the focal point would be to show the importance of $100 and how far it could take you over time. That's the objective. The power of true, exponential growth or compounded growth over time. Just showing, a true example of it, and not being distracted by small things like dividends and things like that while, trying to invest. How important growth is, and not just growth and, crazy, dumb, fast growth, but steady growth over time. And not just steady growth over time, but, that type of steady growth over time that's almost impossible to predict or to forecast. I'm talking about more than 100% gains each year for 10 consecutive years. That's the objective. Hey, when I look back at 10 years, I can see the stock has grown 150% each year over more than 10 years. So I did hit it on the nail, and I was able to do that because I got it at its lowest possible cost basis strike point. And that's my objective. I could easily go in and say, okay, well, I took a loss at 300% and start piling up right now and go ahead and assume the other growth. But the objective is to get the cost basis strike point as low as possible so that I can ride the wave. A lot of people say, okay, well, you strike and you keep cost base averaging. I say no to that. I say you strike and you never strike again. Like, for example, if Microsoft got down to $95 and you put $100 in Microsoft at one time, or you put all that you were going to put into them right at the one time that you struck them right at the best time, and you struck their ass when they went $95. You may have struck them at 96, but you put $1,000 in or $100 in, and then they asses flew all the way up to 120 or some shit. And you sit there and say, well, I'm gonna go ahead and buy some more. No, you just fucked your cost basis strike, but your strike a basis point up. So now, once you get that 100 in there, once you get that 1,000 in there, the objective is to ride the wave, to never ever strike it again. Period. And also, something nobody else is gonna tell you is never pull profits from it again. I know it sounds bananas, but the objective for me is to see literally 1,000% sitting beside any one of my assets. And if it takes 10 years to see 1,000% growth sitting beside an asset, then I'd rather see that 1,000% growth sitting alongside of an asset that took it 10 years to get there, or 11, 12, 13, 14 years to get there with no interruptions, than to be looking at something that got there in, let's say, 3 years. Trust me, it's a big difference. And that's what I mean. Pull out the calculator. Play with it yourself. A lot of us, we haven't pulled out calculators and played with them since we were back in high school. Just play with it. Take a couple hours to play with that motherfucker. Let me know what you come up with. And then let me know if that changes your mindset when it comes to investing and how you invest and how unorthodox my style is by saying, I want to see 1,000%, and to be able to look back and say, all I put in was 100, and I just never touched it. I ain't trying to pull profits when I got to 1,000. No, I want that 1,000 to double again like it did the previous year. And look at growth, and not just, compound or exponential growth, but crazy compound and exponential growth, because you just so happen to pick an asset that actually grew more than 100% each year for 10, 11, 12 years in a row with no interruption. I think it's almost impossible. But even if you just pop one of them bitches, or let's say you got 100 and you pop 10 out of 100, well, you don't need me to tell you. All it takes is 10 out of 100. All it takes is that 10% to pop it, like what I just explained, and all the other crap doesn't even matter in your portfolio. Trust me. Play with the calculator. You'll see. And that's pretty much it, y'all. My daughter's music went off, but again, you can catch Lena Pastel. I have a YouTube channel, which is called Willie Horn, Best Life, and it talks about self, wealth, health, truth. And I have a playlist on there where, I have at least 15 of her songs on there. You can check her out. Hit a like, share, subscribe to your friend. Share it to your friends, subscribe. It also helps her with the YouTube algorithm, and they show the videos more as well. And she has some later stuff, but I don't have access to it. But that's just to give you an idea of some of the music that she puts up. You can check out. Her name is Lena Pastel, and she has a channel on my YouTube. Check it out.